Hello. Following on from our recent Zoom session about the Lower Cauldron, in which I demonstrated some simple qigong exercises, I thought it would be good to do a recording of them in a bit more detail. Not complicated, but in a way that you could use this clip at home and follow me. It's a nice kind of 5-minute routine formed from 2 exercises. One of them is the small orbit of Chi, or small circle of Chi. The other one is the Three Cauldrons Chi Gung exercise. So I'll talk us through them and combine them. And this is a nice little routine 5 minutes a day exercise, good for the Lower Cauldron. So, first of all, some instruction on how to stand. Standing with the feet shoulder width apart. So the balls of the feet feel like they're under your armpits. You don't be too wide, it's not out. It's just balls of the feet in line with the armpits and a kind of parallel line feeling between the shoulders and the hips and the knees and the ankles. Now I'll just step further away a little bit to clarify some posture ideas. Now, with your legs straight like this, it's called locked, like the knees have pushed back and the legs become locked. And it's a casual way of standing. It's kind of a lazy way of standing. And what we want to do is to work the thighs a little bit. So what we do is to bend the knees slightly. Okay? And with your knees slightly bent or off lock, just, you haven't got to squat down low, it's just knees off lock. Like that, so still kind of bouncy and casual. So the knees off lock, and then check that you can wiggle your toes. Okay, now just as an experiment, come forwards into the toes so you can't wiggle them. And we don't want to do this because the body weight is going into the knees and that will give you knee pain eventually. So come off the toes so that you can wiggle the toes. And when you can wiggle the toes and you relax your tailbone and sit down with the tailbone. So comfortable, slightly bouncy feeling, okay? It's not too hard on the legs, but you can wiggle your toes and that means your thighs are holding your body weight rather than your knees. And that's what we want to keep all the time, this feeling of sitting down with the tailbone and the body weight, the weight of the body going down into the balls of the, down into the heels of the feet. Okay, it's not completely in the heels or you'd fall backwards. So it's mostly in the heels, a little bit in the balls of the feet, but the toes are completely free to wiggle. Okay. Now, I'm going to do various shapes with the hands and the arms. So they're going to be coming up and moving around, but we never straighten the legs. Okay, so it will make your legs a little bit tired. It's like gently squatting for 5 minutes, but it's not a heavy squat. It's just knees off lock, body weight into the heels, relaxing the tailbone. And as I move the arms, stay like that. Okay, never straighten the legs, never lean forwards, never lean backwards. So it's just upright in the body, but slightly bent at the knees, wiggle the toes. Now, the first qigong exercise is very, very simple. There are hundreds of qigong exercises, but I picked these 2 that I'm going to show you just to help with working with the three cauldrons, really. They're the most simple exercises. And the first one is just called the small orbit of Chi, or the small energy circle, however you want to think of it. And the choreography of it is palms up just below your belly button, and then they're going to circle the arms until your palms down and the fingers are almost touching in front of the third eye. And then the palms just press down back to where they started. So they finish palm down, and then to do the circle again, you go palms up and you circle up. Okay, now we do that with the breath, and I can't do that with the breath and talk at the same time. So this is just instruction first. So one more time, it's palms up, circle, third eye, palms down. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a minute, but I just want to show you energy-wise what's happening. So knees off locked, sitting down, into the heels, wiggle the toes. Now, as I breathe in, the circle, the small orbit of Chi, feels like it's doing this. So this is the in-breath, and the energy comes up the spine, up to the middle bowl, to the back of the neck, and then there's a pause, like 3 days standstill after the solstice. And then with the exhale, there's a sinking back down, down, back to between your legs, underneath the lower cauldron. And then with another in-breath, coming up the spine, all the way to the top of the spine, to the pineal gland. And then a pause, and then an exhale going back down, 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 with the exhale back between the legs. So it feels like that circle, but we're not doing that with the choreography, but that's the breath. The breath is coming up the spine to the pineal gland, and then down back to the lower cauldron. Or you can think of it as up the spinal cord, the central nervous system, to the pineal gland, and then down through the rest of the body, through the peripheral nervous system to your fingers and your toes. It's all the same thing, really. So, feet shoulders width, feels like the balls of the feet are under the armpits, hips parallel, and then a sitting down feeling, and staying down all of the time. Ready? So to begin, we'll do the small orbit 3 times. So first of all, exhale. And now with the in-breath, pause, and then exhale. Pause, in-breath. Pause, exhale. One more time, deep breath in. And relax as you exhale. So that's the small orbit of Chi, small circle of Chi. The key thing is keeping your legs bent at the knees. Make sure you can wiggle your toes, relax your tailbone, and let your thighs hold you. So it works the thighs. Have a little stretch. So the thighs work, but the discomfort goes away very quickly. Now, what's really nice is whenever you exhale, be mindful of just settling down with the tailbone. Watch this. So, breathing in. Now, before my hands come down, I settle the tailbone down with the exhale. So the first thing to move is my tailbone going down. And then I stay down and I breathe in. And again, settling down with the tailbone as I breathe out. And one more time, breathing in. Now think of it this way, it's the tailbone going down that pulls my shoulders and then my elbows. So the arms are pulled by the tailbone. Hey, practice that at home. So every time you exhale, it's the tailbone first. And that pulls the arm down. Okay, coming from the lower cauldron. So the next exercise then, a bit more detailed. So this is for the 3 cauldrons. And we're thinking first the lower cauldron and just below the belly button, that part of the spine. So I'm just bringing the energy from between my legs to that part of the spine, just below my ribs, really, and then back down. And for the middle cauldron, I'm bringing energy all the way up to my shoulder blades, okay? And then from the shoulder blades back down. And then for the upper cauldron, energy is coming all the way up my back to where my spine goes into my skull and tingles the pineal gland and then settle down again. So the shapes look like this. We just come palms up the center line to below your ribs. And that's all one in-breath. So it doesn't travel far, it just comes from here to here. But that's one in-breath. So you do it slowly, like this. Then turning palms down, and remember it's the tailbone going down that brings the arms down. So as I exhale, I relax my tailbone. Make sure I can wiggle my toes, body weight going down into the heels, and the thighs are holding me. Now for the middle cauldron, palms up, and coming up to the shoulder, coming up my spine to the shoulder blades. Now from my shoulder blades, I've got my thumbs down and I'm going to push forwards and exhale. And then thumbs up and palms up. Okay, one more time for the middle bowl. So drawing energy from the lower cauldron to the middle cauldron. Thumbs down, and then as I breathe out, I sit down with the tailbone. Now, upper cauldron, energy comes up the spine, all the way to the top of the spine. Palms up, and I'm going to push to the sky, but I'm going to relax my tailbone and sit down at the same time. So one more time, upper cauldron, coming up the spine, keeping my knees bent, and then pushing to heaven as I sit down. Okay, I'll show you those sideways now. So knees bent, relaxing the tailbone. Okay, so for the lower cauldron, it's just coming up a little bit, staying below the ribs, and then relaxing the tailbone. down. That's a very small circle. Okay. For the middle cauldron, coming up to the shoulder blades. Now, as I push forwards, I sit down. And then I just let the arms circle down back to the beginning. And then for the throat, for the upper cauldron, coming to the throat. And now I'm going to push palms up, but sit down with the tailbone. Okay, don't want the arms above me like that. That's not a good posture. So the palms are kind of diagonal, pushing outwards, not completely up like this. That's not great. So you just want to be comfortable like that. Okay. So we can put those two things together and make a nice little routine. So the first part of the routine is just 3 orbits of Chi. And I'll do this in a minute. And this is the bit that you can follow as a routine. Okay, so 3 orbits of Chi. And then the 3 cauldrons. 1, 2, 3. And we do the 3 cauldrons 3 times. Okay, so 3 small orbits of Chi, the 3 cauldrons 3 times, and then we're finished with 3 orbits of Chi. So that's quite a nice little package, not too complicated, quite easy, but it will give you about 4 or 5 minutes exercise and start to liberate your spine for future things, like ideas of tree breathing, for instance. And there's other qigong exercises that we can look at when we start looking at the middle cauldron and the upper cauldron. Some really nice exercises that are very cyclic and seasonal and quite druidic, really, because they use nature rhythms. So that's something to look forward to. But for now, the basic circle is like putting a firewall around your 3 cauldrons. It's like reinforcing your aura or your energy sphere around you. So we do that, and then we do each of the 3 cauldrons 3 times, and that's like 3 capital cities in your kingdom. So lower city, middle city, upper city, and we're putting energy into those 3 places for your own vitality. And then we're finished with 3 more circles. So after putting energy into our 3 cities, we boost up the protective firewall around it all. Okay, it's really good exercising. Now, so shoulder width, parallel lines between the armpits, heels, hips and knees, all parallel. Okay. And then just knees slightly off lock. Wiggle your toes all the time. If you wiggle your toes, then the thighs are creating the fire, the heat, the internal sunshine, the vitality, or the chi. Okay, so we're investing in working the thighs to boost our immune systems. And it might be tiring at first, but if you do it more often, your legs will get stronger. And that's always good for you, good for your balance, good for your immune system. Okay. So relax your tailbone, wiggle your toes, settle down. Now, palms up, and we're going to do the small orbit of Chi 3 times. First of all, to begin, just exhale. Relax the tailbone. Now, moving with the in-breath. Three-day standstill. Relax the tailbone. So whenever you breathe in, energy comes up the spine. And whenever you breathe out, relax the tailbone, settle down. Stay down and breathe in. As you breathe out, relax the tailbone. Okay, now the three cauldrons. The lower cauldron, breathing in. Breathing out, relax the tailbone. Middle cauldron, breathing in. Breathing out, relax the tailbone, push forwards. Settle down. Drawing energy up the spine to the head. Pushing upwards, sitting down. So whenever you breathe in, energy rises to the lower back, into the lower cauldron as you exhale. Drawing energy up the spine to the shoulder blades. Pushing forwards as I exhale. Settling down as I finish exhaling. Drawing energy up the spine as I breathe in. Pushing to the heavens as I breathe out. Okay, lower cauldron, in and out. Middle cauldron, breathing in. Pushing outwards as I exhale. Upper cauldron, breathing in. Sit down as I exhale. Okay, 3 small circles of chi to finish. Deep breath in. And relaxing the tailbone. Drawing fresh energy up the spinal cord to the pineal gland. 3 days standstill. Settle down. Down, down, down to the winter solstice. 3 days standstill, drawing energy up. Three days standstill, settle down. Okay, give your legs a rest. So your legs might feel a little bit wobbly, a little bit shaky. Thighs might be complaining a little bit. If they're not, you could have gone a bit lower. So you do want to work the thighs, but equally it should feel comfortable. So you're not looking for pain, but you should feel like, oh, you know, that's good, but you can shake it off and carry on as normal. So we are looking at squeezing the thigh bone with this gentle squatting with the breath. And that's the medicine that boosts up your immune system and stimulates your kidney channel, and the kidneys govern the chi or energy of the lower cauldron. Okay, now the breath rising and the breath sinking is similar to the cycle of the year, and those kind of analogies are used in qigong. And the way to think of it, we know from other studies that the winter solstice or the yin is in the lower cauldron. So the perineum is the lowest part of that cycle, the space between your legs. And the top of that cycle is the pineal gland. So really you're just the spinal cord, and the pineal gland is your flower at the top of the stem, is how to look at it. But the cycle that we're looking for, seasonal, is this. So from, I'm going to point with my finger, so from between my legs is the winter solstice, or the bottom of the spinal cord, and then with the in-breath coming up the spine. To the summer solstice, pineal gland. And at summer solstice, there's 3 days standstill. So it's 3 days pause. But this is a small year circle. So we can just go from winter solstice and with the in-breath to summer solstice, and then pause for the 3 days standstill, and then going into the late summer, autumn, into the winter, to the winter solstice, and then 3 days standstill. So there's a pause. And then after the 3 day standstill, there's the rebirth of the sun, and the energy rises back up, rising, and then settling down again, sinking. Now this fits in with the Ogham, because the Ogham is a year wheel. So the winter solstice is the yew tree, 0 moment. And then we're going birch, rowan, alder, willow, ash at spring equinox. It's like the horizontal bar is spring equinox. And then going hawthorn, oak, holly, hazel, apple for summer solstice. So from the yew tree to the apple tree with the in-breath. And then with the exhale going vine, ivy, broom, blackthorn, elder for autumn equinox. Again, the equinox is the horizontal bar. And then after the equinox, we're going into pine, gorse, heather, aspen, back to yew. So the Ogham Grove as a year wheel or an energy cycle fits nicely with the breathing in. At the end of every in-breath, summer solstice, and then exhaling, finishing the exhale at winter solstice, ready for rebirth of the sun. So various Chi Gung exercises, they all use the same in and out of the breath, and you can wave your arms around and do different things, or you can just sit, or say sit, but standing, but sitting, with your palms on the lower cauldron. And so the sitting is this, as I'm sitting on my thighs, and my thighs hold me. So from the sideways, it looks like this. I'm just investing in my thighs, rather than being lazy with the legs and being in the toes. You know, it's some investment of effort. And that's all we're doing really, and that's the cooking. And then we're moving chi around the body. Chi goes where the intention tells it to go. So you can put it in the lower cauldron, or the middle, or the upper. Okay. And if you're finding that relatively easy, then work on the standing stamina. Now, the thing to do with the arms here is to make a circle with the arms, like this. Don't want the arms straight, like that. So it's a round circle feeling, and the palms are just opposite the lungs, like this. Okay, elbows down, shoulders down. So some people call this hugging a tree, but all you're doing then is just holding the arms there. So you've got some effort. You're not just doing nothing with the arms. There's something going on. And then it's the relaxing the tailbone, wiggle the toes. And this is the ideal standing posture meditation to work on. Try and do 2 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day, and build it up to 5 or 10 minutes a day. Now, if you can get to 10 minutes of just breathing slowly, so breathing in, breathing out, and the key thing then is with the exhale, relaxing the tailbone, So whenever you breathe in, the lungs expand, so it starts to make you top heavy as you breathe in. Just because the lungs have got bigger. And then as you deflate the lungs and relax the tailbone, you sink. And over 10 minutes with the in and out of the breath, the sinking of the tailbone starts to separate the vertebrae of your spine a little bit. So eventually your spine just hangs straight down like a string of pearls. And that's what you're trying to do, is just to let your spine relax, get rid of any tension. And it's done every time you exhale. There's this letting go of tension from the spine. So you just give it back to the ground, give it to the earth. Just go, with every exhale, deep breath in. And then with the exhale, letting go of tension. Now, it can take a while to get used to that, and your legs might get tired. But if you can get up to 10 minutes, then after the first 8 minutes or so, it's different for everybody, but after about 8 minutes, your spine will start to relax. It's just, it takes a while to get to the 9 minutes, 10 minutes, because you might get discomfort. So it's about building up your strength. But the longer you can do it after about 8 minutes, that's quality time for your spinal cord, for your central nervous system, which is the motorway of your body for energy going up and down the spinal cord, you know, and it's your tree trunk. So when you breathe in, energy is coming from your roots up to your tree trunk. And when you breathe out, it's going out to the peripheral nervous system, to your arms and legs and fingers and toes, your branches and your twigs. Now, in the future, we'll talk more about the middle cauldron and how it relates to the arms. There's some lovely exercises for the arms that activate the palm, called the Lao Gung palm, and you can use this then for energy work with trees. You can put your palms on the tree trunk and you can settle down into your legs, let your thighs hold you, relax your spine. And then as you breathe in, you can draw up energy from the earth up your spinal cord. And then through your palms, you can give the energy to the tree. And it goes in the tree, down into the earth, and it goes into the tree roots. And then from the tree roots, it comes up your spine to your middle cauldron and slightly in the upper cauldron. And then you're giving it back to the tree. And the cycle continues like this symbiotic energy sharing with the tree as a type of Chi Gung, could even call it Tree Gung, but plant medicine, flower essences, it's the same. You're sharing the energy field with the tree in an equally supportive, loving way. So you can get oak tree medicine or holly tree medicine or hawthorn or however you want to work it. But first of all, liberate your own tree trunk, your spinal cord, and energize your 3 cauldrons. And then it all grows from there. So anyway, to recap, small orbit of chi, very simple, basic. Go as slow as you can with your own breath. So just breathing in. Three-day standstill, relax the tailbone. And then the 3 cauldrons, energy to just below the ribs, into the lower cauldron, relax the tailbone. Drawing energy up your legs, up your spinal cord to the middle bowl. Expanding outwards through your palms to the tree. And then for your pineal gland, 3-day standstill, relax the tailbone. And then all the energy settles back down below your lower cauldron, ready for the next bit. Okay. I hope that all made relatively good sense, and you can practice at home. Just do 3 small orbits of Chi, 3 cauldrons 3 times, and 3 small orbits of Chi. And that's a nice routine to start cooking your thighs and building up your immune system and your vitality. Okay.